Oh no, I hear you shout. Not more about gold. Yes, it's gold again. But gold is expensive. And we all know that the price of gold is being rigged to go low by the banks. In fact, there was a recent article in the Washington Post which said that the Swiss banks claim that as many as 7 other international banks are involved in rigging the price of gold. In other words, creating an artificial low. Now there's reports of gold selling as much as 2.2 times higher than its official price, if you want any real quantity. That is physical gold, not paper gold like GLD. However, the reason for this rigging, people have said, oh, it's the government because they don't want the price of gold to make money look bad and all this sort of thing. Well, that is actually rubbish, I think, because I think the reason for this has just been exposed. Now, as you see here, in 2004, this is from Forbes site. It's an article called "Is GLD Really as Good as Gold?" Off you go Google it. So GLD was launched in 2004 and there's a load of blah 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 about this. However, it's valued at 72.4 billion and backed by 40.8 million ounces of physical gold. Those two numbers don't really add up, but there we go. GLD has been targeted by skeptics who question the ETF's secretive methods and even doubt that it holds all the gold in HSBC's vault in London. No. So here we have it. HSBC, one of the central companies involved in banking fraud over the last few years and said to be involved in gold price rigging, are the major holder of GLD's gold. And here we go. The trust seeks to reflect the price performance of gold bullion by holding gold bars and issuing shares backed by their holdings of physical metals. Well, we all know the amount of physical metal doesn't equal the shares. It's a fractional system. The gold bars are held in HSBC's vault, if there are any, in London, and shares are sold in baskets of 100,000, that's 100,000 ounces. Now, even though GLD is physically backed, ordinary investors can't just go to London and redeem their bullion. They can only get fiat currency. Only authorised participants are allowed to create or redeem shares. Authorised participants are registered broker-dealers. So you're looking at Citi, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America. Catalogue of fraud or what? With JP Morgan's recent silver fiasco. Yeah, we all know about Citibank and Bank of America. So there we go. Regular shareholders have no rights of redemption, so they're going to get paid back. Everyone basically, bar the people who helped set up the trust, will never get any gold because they're not authorised to get it. That's point one. Point two is that, as it says, the gold is held by HSBC in London. Then we come to Bullion Star's blog, and they've done a nice bit of analysis in here which you can read, and it's called "Are the London Gold Vaults Running Empty?" and this was way back in 2014, a whole year ago, May 2014, and they're talking about the Chinese demand for gold. Now the thing is that historically China has imported most of its gold from Switzerland and that gold actually originated in London. HSBC. And they're reluctant to disclose their chart. Well, there we go. You can read it yourself. But the main point is that the tonnage that was exported from Switzerland to China has not gone down, it's gone up. However, UK total net gold export collapsed from 107 tonnes in February to 16 tonnes in March. The main gold vein that ran from the UK through Switzerland, through Hong Kong, remember HSBC is what? The Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank. Finally reaching the mainland is drying up. Switzerland net gold export to Hong Kong fell 76%. And there's a link to a video where Kenneth Hoffman states that the London gold vaults were virtually empty. And the managing director of Switzerland's biggest gold refinery stated that this is exactly what's happening. So if you look at my previous video about gold bullion fraud, it looks like I was right on the money with that. Now, why is the price being driven down and down and down and down? Well, as I said, COMEX started in 2004, and I at the moment haven't got a chart that goes back that far, but here's gold prices chart. That goes way back as far as October the 10th 2005, when gold was $471 an ounce or thereabouts. Now look what happened. Bing, 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 bing. Price went up and up and up and up until 2012. And then it went down and down and down and down. Well, the obvious reason for this is, let's say somebody wishes to retrieve one of these GLD contracts. They want to cash it in. Of course they cash it in at today's price. But they bought it somewhere down here if they were clever, and indeed the bulk of the GLD contracts were bought before 2012, which is unsurprising because the price of gold is really high at the moment. So if the banks are worried about somebody wanting to redeem their money, now it's so high, I mean currently it's around about 1,127, it's well over double the price it was at the start of the GLD scam, then surely they needn't be worried, because all they need to do is go out and sell a bit of bullion. But that presupposes that they have bullion to sell. If they don't have bullion to sell, and the whole thing is just a large fraud, like JP Morgan's silver fraud, which turned out to be a large fraud, no physical metal involved, charging for storage fees, then obviously, very obviously, they have to pay it back in fiat currency. And where are they going to get this fiat currency from? Well, with the price so high, they're just going to go bankrupt overnight if people ask for their gold back. Because don't forget, they accepted this price for gold back here somewhere, and they've got operating costs and so on and so forth that stack up, and they've got to cover those. So they would want the price of gold to be down here, back where it was, sort of, you know, sort of around about the $500–600 mark, and then they might just squeeze out a profit. But where it is at the moment, oh no, they have to drive the price down and down. And that's why we have this huge physical price discrepancy at the moment, with people paying up to 2.2 times the price per ounce than is quoted here for actual physical gold in quantity. I'll reiterate again, this doesn't affect the small investor much who buys coins, because they're a totally different thing. This affects people who buy a number of gold bars that they're having to pay to get it, because gold at the moment is very short, therefore the price is going up, and by some strange reason this is not reflected in the paper price, the stock market price of gold. I wonder why. Could it be they're afraid of going bankrupt? I think so. And they're desperately trying to drive the price down, but it's just not working. And the reason it's not working is because there are a lot of fools in the world. These fools seem to think that GLD is backed by physical gold, and that by buying GLD they're buying a share in some mystical mountain of gold somewhere. Where in actual fact what they're doing is they're buying a space in an empty vault. It's really, really bad. Really bad. So, if you've liked this video, please like, share, and of course subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.
Well, you could subscribe to Arduinotronic, or just go jump in a lake.